Good morning, class. I'm Miss Tricia. So, what is transphobia? Does anybody know? And does it really exist? Okay, here's the answer. Transphobia is the term given to an idea or a statement or something along those lines that is found offensive by somebody who is trans. That's usually given the term transphobia. We can debate the actual word itself, because phobia is usually fear, so whatever. But what people usually mean when they say transphobia, yes, I do believe it exists. Maybe not as often as people claim, but I do believe it does exist. So, how do you deal with it if you're trans? Or just different in general? If you're, different in any kind of way, and you deal with it. What are you supposed to do? That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to go over today. There are typically three ways that one can react to transphobia. And we're going to go over those three ways, as well as the different courses of action within those ways that one can take to maybe help deal with transphobia a little better without letting their world just fall down around them or totally losing their heads. It's always better to be able to calmly and coolly take stock of something and not let your temper or your anger or rage or sadness or any kind of emotion get the best of you. Something that I really had to learn. Okay, so let's do it. First, we have the passive approach to dealing with transphobia. And what is this? The passive approach, you might say. What are we going to do if we are being passive? We are going to shrug it off, let it go, and laugh it off, and just go on about our business. Some of us are able to do that and really just go on with our business. Some of us are able to do that, but it doesn't really go away, and it just sits with them, and these little instances build up, and then what? Either they wind up exploding, or I don't know. People are all different. Some people are, it drives them crazy. Some people, it just doesn't faze them. So that just really all depends on who you are. If you want to take the passive approach, if you do want to take the passive approach, you must, in my opinion, and I am the teacher, so please don't second guess my opinion. If you want to take the passive approach, you need to definitely be secure with who you are. Because it's going to be very hard to shrug it off and be passive if you're not secure with, your own self, with, you even being who you are, being transgender, basically. Or whatever it is. If you're not secure with it, then it's going to be very hard to let it go without it, eating at you inside. Trust me. So that is really what you need to ask yourself if you choose to be passive and just let these instances, or this instance of, I don't even want to say transphobia, but hatred, or just if somebody's just throwing pure hatred at you just to do it. It takes a strong-willed person to be passive, and if you are that type of person, I applaud you, and I really do envy and respect that. So, to be passive, that's one way to do it. You can, just tell yourself, I'm not gonna be bothered by others. Why am I gonna let something that somebody else says or thinks bother me? That is actually the most ideal choice on here. It's the most ideal way to handle it. Because, whatever, bygones be bygones. But then again, the person who is dishing out the hatred, where is the justice in that, right? Option 2, the passive-aggressive approach. That is probably the approach that I would be more prone to take. What is a passive-aggressive approach? Well, it is the passive-aggressive approach. It is not aggressive, but it's not totally passive. It's kind of in the middle. You are being passive, but you are also doing it in a aggressive way. So, what can you do if you choose to deal with transphobia passive-aggressively? What is something you might do? This is something that I do, okay? This was on my last video. This is a tip that I gave to deal with jerks. One thing you can do is purposely misgender them. Kind of childish, I'll give you that. But, so what? Yeah, purposely misgender them. If it's a misgendering instance anyways, or if that's kind of the problem, give it right back to them and let them see how it feels, and keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and they'll more than likely get tired of it. I know it's always worked for me. Another thing you can do to passive aggressively deal with transphobia is to call them at their bluff. Lay it on thick. And what I mean by that is out loud and proud, sister. If they don't like the fact that you're transgender or whatnot, and they are mocking you, making fun of you, transphobically doing anything to you or saying anything to you, then you are one option to passive aggressively one option to passive aggressively deal with it is to say, or not say this, but yeah, okay, and just lay it on thick. The transgenderism, I mean, just go all out, full makeup, just go get all made up, get all prettied up and all that if you're a trans woman, and vice versa if you're a man, and just lay it on thick, and and then they'll see this, and just whatever it is they don't like about you because you're the way you are, they're really not gonna like you now. That is one way to passively aggressively deal with it. Another would be to reference them online on, say, a blog, or if you have some kind of outlet online that you like to use, you can reference their transphobia without specifically pointing at them. You could just reference them, but leave them anonymous. Last but not least, we have the aggressive approach to dealing with transphobia. The good one. You can, if you choose to be aggressive about it, you can yell, scream at them about it, really make your point and argue your case in a very loud way. You could make them look stupid somehow by pointing out flaws in their transphobic slur. You could goad them into You could angrily goad them into an argument or debate on the matter, and be sure to win. You could record their, if it's one of those people that just goes on tirades about transgender people. I'll deal with somebody like that. Somebody that just goes on tirades about it. Record one of their tirades and expose them online. Oh, well, I never. Yes, I think you shall. If you so choose to be aggressive, that is one way to do it. Record their rants and upload it online and out them as a transphobe. A lot of people are not going to like what I just said, and I'm sorry. But all I'm doing is stating the different ways to deal with transphobia. And then I'm going to go over the ultimate way that I think is right to just actually beat transphobia. Exposing somebody it is probably the most immature and aggressive, one of the most aggressive ways to go about it. If you so choose to be aggressive, that is going to be it's going to be one of the most aggressive options, we'll just say. Yelling and screaming right back at them is also pretty dang aggressive. Make them look stupid, that's also pretty aggressive. Debate, you can aggressively debate them. So, Miss Tricia, what is the best way to beat or deal with transphobia? Sadly, transphobia cannot totally be beaten because there's always going to be somebody out there that feels that way about you if you're transgender. In my own opinion, the best way is to tailor-make your response to how severe or how hurtful the transphobia is. You can keep your head about you. The passive approach has very good advice insofar as, you should be secure with who you are, not worry about what other people think and say. Don't take too much stock in it. Nobody wants to sit and hear somebody talking trash about them or the type of person they are. It's not cool, it's not nice, it's rude, it's mean. So, a while back I did a video called How to Ignore the Hate. That is my recommendation. That is how I deal with transphobia, which I call hate. I don't use the word transphobia really, but I'm going to refer you to that video because that is how I personally deal with transphobia. I ignore it. And in doing so, you can't always just flat out ignore it. Just watch the video. If you're confused, just watch the video. It'll explain it. But yeah, just keep your head about you and try to go for the passive or at the very most passive aggressive approach. And remember, you are a beautiful, beautiful person. Your thoughts and the person you are is just as valid as anybody else on this planet. It doesn't matter if you're trans, gay, bi, whatever. You are just as valid. Do not let somebody make you feel otherwise. Okay? So for now, class dismissed. I love you and good night.